Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for coming. Just want to say we had a great first week of OTAs this week, and really excited about the direction we're headed with this football team. Strongly encouraged about the turnout we've had with the players here coming in for these OTA practices that aren't mandatory. So it's a true testament to the players on this roster, coming here to try and get better, so we can go ahead and achieve the goals that we have set forth for us for this upcoming season. But with that, I'll open it up for any questions.
Chris, you're up.
Hey, Ryan. How you doing?
Good, Chris.
Thomas here.
How you doing, Chris?
Yeah, doing well. Hey, kind of like a two-part punting question, I guess. Apparently, Britton Colquitt wasn't there today.
Yep.
Why is that? And the follow-up question is just talk about Zach von Rosenberg and what an incredible story he is, being a former baseball player, going to LSU and all that stuff.
Yeah, I'll start with the first question. Obviously these practices aren't mandatory, and Britt's been in constant communication with us. He was here the first 2 days. He had a personal thing today, and which he communicated that with us. And so he's been doing well. He kicked yesterday in our periods, and he looked really good and really strong, and excited for him. And then in terms of Zach, we're really fortunate to have Zach here. He is a little unique situation, like you mentioned, him being a prior professional baseball player and now punting at LSU, and it's a real true testament of the type of athlete he is, because he's doing a lot of good things. He's got really good leg strength, and he can directional punt, and I just love his demeanor out there on the field, especially as a holder too, just taking charge, and he's doing a really good job working himself in with the group and with this roster. It's been a pleasant surprise for both of those guys being here.
Hey, Ryan, what's it been like for you just stepping into this role here as coordinator so far this offseason?
It's been exciting. I mean, there's a lot of things that we want to go ahead and accomplish, obviously, things that we want to improve on and build on from previous years. But it's exciting to be able to go ahead and be in front of the group of guys. And when we had the rookie camp last week, I had some juice flowing a little bit, and obviously on the first day of this past week was a lot of fun. But at the end of the day, just getting on the field with the guys and to be able to do what we love to do on a daily basis, it's a true blessing.
Eric Smith and then Matt Collar.
Hey, Ryan, when you have so many battles that you plan to have with, at all three specialist spot with both returner spots, I guess, how do you kind of map that out in the offseason to make sure guys are getting equal reps, or kind of the importance of that?
That's a good question, Eric. It is a challenge a little bit. You want to try and make it as fair as possible, so they're getting the same reps. And each day is different, obviously, because we have windy days on certain days and not as others. So you want to try to keep it as fair as possible. But at the end of the day, it all works out. Right now we just want to make sure we're having, we are fortunate enough from which, the head coach and personnel guys, and Rick and Coach Zim to allow us to have, two at each spot, so we can go ahead and have great competition for these guys, at practice. So making sure we have at least one set up for all the team periods that we're having in these situations, and we're just looking to try and improve. Competition is a beautiful thing, and we just got to make sure we're working to get better each day. So at the end of the day, when the decisions need to be made, that we got the right guy and we're ready to move forward and achieve our success that we were looking forward to.
Ryan, this team hasn't had kind of the solidified punt returner position since Marcus Sherrills. What are you looking for in these practices to try to get a sense for if someone can carry it over from the practices to the game? Like, what's the big difference between assessing them now to knowing whether they're going to be able to do it in real games?
That's a great question. It's tough. We got to put them in the situations as much as we can, those live situations, and Coach does a great job of, mapping that out in practice and trying to go ahead and simulate as much as we can in game-like situations. But obviously Marcus was a phenomenal returner for us here. He's the leading Viking returner here in Minnesota Viking history, and so it's never easy to replace a guy such as Marcus. It's very difficult, but I believe we got the guys on the roster right now currently and I'm really excited about that. They're going to be able to help this team win a lot of football games. But again, it's ball possession in the return game. We got to make sure we're scoring or setting up a score in the return game, giving our offense a short field position, and we're handing that ball to the official at the end of each play, because we want to make sure we have ball possession and our offense can go ahead and take the field, and we're helping our team win the field position battle and win the football games at the end.
Sam and then Lindsay.
Hey, Ryan, can you just talk about what you've seen so far from the two place kickers, Greg and Riley?
Yeah, having those two guys on roster, it's been a pleasant surprise. Excuse me. Been very fortunate, bringing Greg in the early process here in the off season, and I don't have much prior to him coming here. Didn't have much experience with him besides what his work was with Tennessee and Cleveland, and obviously in Tampa. But so I was real excited to get him here in the building and see him work. And he's a true professional. He works hard at his craft. He knows what he needs to work on, what he's really good at, and it's been great to go ahead and work with him and see him actually kick, in live, in person. And with Riley, that was a guy we targeted in this process leading up to the draft. His testament in college, was, his track record was really good. He was very consistent kicker for the Memphis down there, and so it was, really exciting to go ahead and be able to bring him on staff. Or onto the roster to go make this competition.
Hey Ryan, I was just wondering about bringing in Coach Steeples and sort of what you liked about his background and experience and what he brings to your guys' coaching staff for this season.
Steeple's been great so far coming in. He's done everything I've asked, and he's done he's gone way above and beyond of what I have asked of him. I've known Steeps when he actually was a player here, and he really, just as a player, he really was a detailed note taker, very thorough in everything he did. The way he approached the game, he was just want to talk about situations, about how special teams, was involved in the complementary football with the offense and defense, and so I've always just kind of taken notice of that for the last couple of years, and then kind of followed his career out there at the high school as a head coach, and his just demeanor with the players, the way he can communicate with them, and kind of, especially this rookie camp that we had, he was able to, talk to these guys, be like, hey, I've been in your position. This is the path I had to take, and he's been actually a really good sounding board for me in terms of this process, and also, he's got some great ideas in terms of, scheme and everything, and technique and fundamentals, it's been fun to go ahead and bounce some things off of.
Matt, what are you?
Just kind of back to the punt returning. When it comes to guys that don't have as much experience, but you want to try them back there, kind of what are some of the things that you're trying to emphasize to them to help them understand like what it takes? I'm sure it's not as simple as just catch the ball and run away with it, right?
No, yeah. I wish it was that simple. Then we'd have a lot of people who are able to do it. But first it's the desire and the want to. We got a couple young guys that really want to be the guy, which is great because that's encouraging. That's something that you want to go ahead and to make sure that they that's something that's important to them. But then it's about technique and fundamentals. We got to make sure we secure the catch. We don't want the ball hitting the ground. So we talk about technique, fundamentals. Coach allows us to go ahead and work the technique right before practice each day, so he puts a huge emphasis on the punt returners and kickoff returners if we're working them that day. And it's just repetition. So it's making sure we're talking about the flight of the ball, talking about situations in terms of the wind, making sure if it's a right-footed punter, how it's coming off of his foot, the trajectory of the ball, if it's a left-footed punter, right-footed punter, it's different. Way it's coming off, if the ball turns over, if it doesn't turn over. So all those situations, it's just us making sure we're talking about it so they have the best opportunity to be successful when they take the field. And just talking about situations, knowing the rules in terms of punt return, because it is unique with special teams, knowing that if I fair catch a ball, I can't go ahead and block, so those are all penalties. So we got to make sure we're talking about all those situations and we're clear with it, and then we're repping it on the field, and then just coaching them off the tape, making sure they're just getting better each and every day and they have confidence with it.
A little final question to Andrew.
Hey, Ryan, just wanted to ask you, going back to the field goal operation, you've been through quite a bit, obviously, in your years here in Minnesota with that. What have you learned through the changes that you guys have gone through in the past with the kicking operation and the field goal unit that can kind of help you settle on a three that you want to have moving forward here in terms of the holder, long snapper, and kicker?
Yeah, that's a great question. My biggest thing is consistency. I would want to make sure that the way our approach to the game, the approach each kick, that we're consistent. And that's not only with our steps, and then that's also with our approach on the kick. But we got to make sure that everything we do, we're doing it the same way. And then if some adversity does strike, then we handle adversity the right way. We don't go ahead and If we strike that ball really well, exactly how we wanted the previous kick, we come back to the next kick, we put it still to rest, and we're ready for the next play. Even if we end up having to miss one. That's why I love these two guys that we have so far competing, because so far charting in practice, we chart a lot of kicks, and everything they do, we're making sure we're taking record on everything that they're doing, and they have not missed, back-to-back kicks. I mean, because that just shows their mental toughness right now to be able to bounce back if when adversity does strike. And I think these guys have done a great job with that. So it's just a whole encompassing of everything. Just making sure they're consistent in their approach in the game, and they're willing to get better.